1, and go. So, remember, of course, that you can take your selection brush over here to the side, the one that looks like a little brush with a little dotted circle, to select something from a picture and bring it over. I'm doing this really sloppily. I've got lots of parts of Miss Kaufman that shouldn't be in there, like that giant bulb. Remember, if you grab like a part of the picture that you don't want, hold down Alt to wipe away, and then copy and paste. You can then resize with your selection tool. Be aware, sometimes, especially with the photos that you guys take from your phones, your pictures are actually going to be like this large and they may appear off the edge of the screen. If you paste and you don't notice anything, zoom out, click the layer that just was created, and it should outline your piece. So for instance, Chris, do you mind turning off the light so we can see a little bit fully? Thank you. So zoom out, and when you click the layer, it should outline your cutout. If it's off to the side like this, you'll notice it's just going to appear as a box. Just drag it over, and you should then be able to see your copy and paste job. Remember, when resizing, grab from the corners to keep things even. Remember, if you grab from the sides, you're going to end up squishing, and you don't want to do that. You don't want to look super skinny or super fat by accident, because that'll make you look super fat. This will make you look super skinny. Because I have a picture of all teachers. And 2, Brian, if you've been paying attention to any of the posters around school, I had to put her head over Rihanna's because that's the picture that I used for the Rihanna, the picture of Seniors Better Have My Money for prom. That's why I have this Kaufman's picture. I'm sorry that you don't look at the walls in the school or any of the TVs. But yeah, I used it for that. Okay. Right. So that way you can get someone look in a picture. You may need to adjust things in the picture, but if you notice, if I do adjustments, for instance, if I want to turn up or down her color, it does it for the entire picture, not just for her. If you need to do that, for instance, if you've got a black and white picture and you've got a color picture of yourself, again, you can use your selection tool. Make sure that you're on the layer of your cutout. Select just yourself. And you'll notice then you can adjust things just for that area. For instance, now I can turn this black and white if I need to. Notice the only part that goes black and white is what's selected. So make sure that you've got everything selected that you need to do. If you're doing these kinds of adjustments, another thing to know is that you cannot move your picture after you change it. So for instance, if I change this, so this was, I don't know, let me go back to white balance. So I change this to be black and white. Wait, that is the wrong thing. I need this one. If I change this to be black and white, you'll notice if I try to move Miss Kaufman, I'm going to go back there, select Miss Kaufman's layer. If I try to move her, whoa, first off, let me not take her head. Okay, let's do it like this. Notice what happens to the black and white. Stays there. So make sure if you're going to do any adjustments, you've got your positioning right, because it's going to stay wherever you put it. And it's not going to follow the picture. Notice black and white, not black and white. Black and white, not black and white. So make sure you make your adjustments when you're ready in the place that you want to have that permanently. Questions on that? Last thing, there's one other adjustment that you guys might need to know. We've talked about saturation, which is how deep the color is. We've talked about brightness, of course, which is how bright bright something is, and we've talked a little bit about contrast, which is how deep the shadows are. Last thing I'm going to show you, last adjustment that we might need for this, is something called white balance. So, layers is over here. Underneath adjustments, where we found HSL adjust and, of course, brightness and contrast, we have white balance. All that means is the color of light that's hitting you. So you remember, we have yellow bulbs, we have white bulbs, we have sunset, which is a little at sunset and sunrise, which is a little bit more orangey. If you have a bulb that is not pure white, or a scene that's not pure white, this slider, the white balance slider, will help it look a little bit more orangey. You, of course, don't want to go all the way to the edge. That looks like she just has a bad tan. But, for instance, if this this has like that orange cast to it, I might want to try and match that by pulling it a little bit to the side so it looks like she's in that yellow light. And that looks a little bit more natural to the picture. Counter that, if you are in like moonlight or some other kind of bluish light, pull it the other way, and you'll get that bluish kind of effect. So that looks more like moonlight or lighting underneath the halogen at night. Stray laptop, you can take whatever you want from that card. Okay, cool. If you any questions, confusions, you want to take those step by step.